Okay, well, the NATO phase is now over, and it's had a chance to attack twice. Again, learning this game, a lot of my attacks were not focused, the numbers weren't right, the odds were off. Things didn't really pan out the way I wanted them to. I kind of wanted to beat back the Warsaw Pact from their front lines, but ended up kind of making the situation worse in some places. Down south especially was where we got hurt. Trying to beat back the tank divisions around here, NATO ended up just getting disrupted. It was a real mess. The only real success was right here in the middle. We had this division kind of sitting here, and kind of ended up putting the whole group here of NATO armored units against it and pushed it back across the East German border. Didn't do any damage to it, but at least got it to retreat, which was nice to see. The only other place where the fighting happened was up here at the top, here at the north part. Things went so badly in a NATO counterattack that I ended up pulling back all of my NATO units across the river so that they could regroup. Managed to have a couple of guys here hanging on in Hamburg, and one guy that had to retreat up here to Kiel, basically just to get rid of his disruptions. So it's been kind of a real mess with the counterattacks. Starting to look like World War I here. After the attack phases ended, I ended up rolling for escalation. This is a roll to see if you get permission to use nuclear weapons. And both sides failed, so it looks like the world is safe for now. One interesting thing that happened this turn also was the fact that the Pomka sites are coming online. The Pomkas counters here, what happens is you have to place them in a certain area. One of them is Aachen, for example. I think, let's see, no. Anyway, here it is. It's near Saarbrücken. So basically, you place these Pomkas markers at the start of the game, and then you reveal them, and you might get a unit coming in turn 1, turn 4, whatever, depending on what your Pomkas, the back of your Pomkas counter site says. Anyway, so we had the first Cav joining us this turn, and rushing up to the front to help out, and thanks to them we managed to beat back some pretty bad, big bad Soviet divisions there. But things are still real bad for NATO right now, especially with all of these southern disruptions. West Germans are disrupted. A big attack with the French, Canadians, and Americans against this unit here ended up just scoring disruptions for the NATO units, and one disruption for the Soviets didn't really help at all. So it's kind of a mess going into the second turn. Aircraft are back down onto the flown areas. They've all come back to base. Now you're basically waiting for them to undergo maintenance at the start of the next turn to see which of them can actually fly. If you take a look at the back of the counter here, it actually tells you what kind of maintenance roll you need to make in order for it to make it back up into the air. So of course the NATO aircraft are a lot more easy to, well, not easy to maintain, but they can get back into the air a lot quicker than the Warsaw Pact units. So hopefully NATO will have a little bit better luck at the start of next turn, and we'll see you then.